Okay, Mr. Hyde, will you please give us the invitation, sir?
Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for this day that you have given us, and we pray as we meet here tonight to conduct the county's business that you will give us the special wisdom and discernment to make the right and best decision for the county and the citizens. We pray in thy name. Amen.
Okay, without objection, for the approval of the agenda, I would like to add one item, which was it's a pass-through grant request for $14,952 that came in from the sheriff's department. They just got it today. Pass-through funds, without objection, I would like to add that.
Where?
I'll put it under my report.
Okay.
I'll just put it under my report, item B. I think I can handle it there. Anything that?
How much was that again?
Yeah, $14,952. Okay. I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Recognition of the public, Mr. Kevin Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kevin Baker, 424 Asian Wade Road. I'd like to talk about the redistribution of wealth that you're proposing, sir. You know, I'm all for giving to charities, and I think it should be done through charitable organizations, not the government. That sounds too much like what Mandami wants to do up in New York City. Taking money from one group and giving it to another just doesn't sit well with me. Especially when you look at 2.8% was the increase that everybody on Social Security is going to get this year. Well, maybe me and Mr. Hyde, I don't know if anybody here. But yet our budgets grew across the board somewhere north of 4%. Okay, so we're already funding pretty well a lot of stuff. I think it's irresponsible to be taking from, you know, some of the, everybody's having to pay taxes, not only in property taxes and sales taxes. That's all going in, but it's never included in the 2.8%, the cost of living. The cost of taxes never gets rolled into that, and that's just not quite right. You know, when somewhere around 20,000 people for the census says that they in Sumner County live at or below the poverty level. I mean, so what are you going to give them? $100 each? Well, that's $2 million. That's 2 pennies of tax. Why didn't we do that during budget time? You know, if you want to do something, why don't we curb the grocery tax for everybody? That's just, you're taking food out of people's mouths. That would be a great way to do it. Everybody benefits. So I just wanted to plant those seeds when a large portion of our population is getting 2.8%, and we keep just kind of giving money away willy-nilly. That's not right. It's too much like communism, and I didn't think Tennessee supported that. You know, there are some people in this room that ran on the idea of, is that the role of government? Well, the role of government isn't to redistribute wealth and to pick winners or losers. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Mr. Michael Clark.
Michael Clark, 102 Tioga Trail, Hendersonville. Just a side item I'd like to add. I'd only meant to talk about one thing, but I see the volunteer fire department is on there. I think that's coming up in October, but I really think that they need to be helped as much as they can. I mean, I live in the county. Shackle Island is my local fire department, and they've done a great job. What I'd really like to speak about is 3,000 tote bags that you're supposed to bring back with food, for Thanksgiving, along with gift cards, so a turkey can be purchased. As of today, when I spoke to, Mark Hopkins over there, 1,600 of those bags have been returned full of food. Those will be distributed. They got one more week, it's like next week and next Sunday, so they're hoping to get back close to 2,500 to the 3,000 of food, and all will be passed out. What they don't, they go through the school system and the school guidance offices, direct them towards the need, and that's how they do it. And if they have an overflow from that, Galvin Cares is where they take the food. They're also doing a program that started last year called End Hunger in Sumner. Some of you may have heard about it. It also goes through the school system. The guidance counselors determine the children in need. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the backpacks the kids take home on the weekends for food, because they don't, they might not get anything if that didn't go home. But Long Haul does it a little different. They have food every day. They take food and drop it off to schools, and the counselors make sure the kids have it. So they have food every day to take home. There's 300 to 400 kids in Sumner County have been identified as being in a food emergency, which means if they don't take food home from school, they might not have to go back to school the next morning. They're in 10 schools right now. They hope to be in 15 by May. One of the pastors was telling us here about a month ago that they dropped off food to a little kindergarten girl that they usually get the food at the end of the day. But she was so concerned about her food that she wanted to get it right then, as soon as they got there that morning. I mean, can you imagine a child that is concerned about what they're going to eat that night, that they want to go ahead and get it and put in their backpacks so they go? I mean, here we are in the greatest country in the world. We've got children right here in Sumner County. And it just breaks my heart. And I'm not asking you guys to put out money. I know you couldn't do it to churches anyway. But keep that in mind in your own lives, in your own churches, and any of the other organizations that you can give money to. I suggest you do it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Brooklyn White.
Hello. First of all, I want to underscore what you just said before I start asking
Could you state your address, please, ma'am?
Sure. I live at 933 Sunset Drive. I want to underscore what you just said. What you just said is really important. Before I ask for support other budget things, we need to feed kids. They can't learn and do other things without eating. It's one of the foundational things that we have to have met before we can really do anything else. Just making sure our safety is met and that our bellies are full. But I wanted to also talk about the volunteer fire department. I know that was talked about here. It was talked about at the county commission meeting. I just wanted to say that I would support funding them. I know that there's concern about where that money is going to come from long term. It's not sustainable to just keep finding budget plays just to give it to them without that. And I understand there's an ad hoc committee coming up to talk about that. But I don't think we can keep just pushing it off until another committee figures it out. So I would support that you guys also support, especially when it comes back up in front of the commission again, to allow them that one time and then maybe go from there for where it comes from after that. Also, I've been doing some reading of what's going on with the election commission. I saw at the last meeting that there was a budget item, so I wanted to do some more research. And tonight I saw that there's something about convenience center voting, and I wanted to know what that was about. So convenience center voting would allow us to vote like you would at early voting. I understand it's been approved by the state for us to have convenient voting in favor of us otherwise having to add more precincts every time we grow. And I learned that precincts have a cost each year. to add new ones, polling staff, all those kinds of things. Convenience voting would allow people to go where, like they do for early voting. So you would show up, just like you would present your ID, answer the question you're supposed to answer, and then you could vote at any of those polling places that were available for the day. And essentially, they would be able to do that on the general election day. I know we have elections coming up next year, so I'm assuming it's pretty important that we get that passed soon. And I saw that there's a higher cost for the convenience voting on the front end, but then I also did some more research about that. Turns out it's a one-time cost. So we would be paying that up front, or the commission would be allotting that fund up front for them to make that convenient voting switch. And then long-term, they wouldn't have to keep trying to fund precincts each time that it expands. So I just wanted to just give my support to say that I think we should do that. I think that a lot of people on their way home from work or whatever else they have going on would love to be able to stop at a convenient voting center. I think it would support families with children, and I think it would benefit a lot of people. And it sounds like something that needs to happen. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Brad Williams.
I'll try to keep this brief. Of course, I'm here to support the volunteer fire department. Brad Williams, sorry, 1916 Highway 30 with W. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Myself.
Go ahead.
Keep it really brief. Of course, I support the volunteer fire departments. We do have a few people here tonight to speak. If you have any questions, if you want to know about, we'll be happy to answer any questions. I know that the money that we're looking at this year is not going to be a long-term fix. We all know that. And we know it's not very budgetarily conducive coming in here in October asking for money I will say should have been there in July. But it's very needed. I mean, I explain to you every week and every month how bad the fire departments are doing right now, and it's a true statement. If we can do it this year, get the additional money, then the ad hoc committee can talk about long-term solutions. There's already been some other funding methods that have been brought up, not just fire taxes, but other places that money could possibly come from. But like I mentioned before, even the 650, that gets us back kind of status quo. It's not going to be progressive and help anything move forward. One thing I do ask, though, is if you have a question or if you want to do something about the money or you want to change something around with the decimal or whatnot, ask one of us. One thing that aggravates me worse than anything is when people who are not involved in the day-to-day or the operation of something. Now, granted, it's y'all's money to give us, technically, for the budget process, but when you kind of make decisions on a grand scale, you don't understand what decisions affect us on that hand. It'd be really nice just to be brought in for a quick question, or, hey, if we change this to this, how will that affect you? That would be great. One example of that is changing. I presented a while ago about if we were going to do $1 million to divide it a different way that the chiefs and I had talked about and agreed to. And then in the meetings, it goes back to, let's go back to per station, or let's go back to department, which changes the math massively. Which we're all happy with 100,000 per station, so don't let that shake you from doing anything. But I just do ask, if you do want to make any other changes or thought processes, let's at least talk to one of us first or ask a quick question and see if that makes a difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, that concludes recognition of the public. I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
Second. And I'll abstain because I missed the first half.
Thanks.
All right, and then we have 2 abstentions. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Okay, I'll do my report real quick. I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to mention kind of what my thought process here was for the support for one-time support for new families. So I want to be super clear. I was not talking here about, not in my mind here to cut checks to people. This came up based on just watching news and then having conversations with people relative to the government shutdown and SNAP benefits being cut, or not being cut, but being paused. And I'm just going to be super simple about it. I don't know that we necessarily need to do anything now because I think this is going to be resolved tonight. But I do want to explain what my plan was here, what my thought process was. So the part of it is super simple. I grew up really poor, and I don't want to be the guy who turned my back on the kid that I used to be. And we had one speaker here who made a very good comment about how you treat your young and your old. And I think that's very, very, very true. So that was now that's the feel-good stuff, right? But there's also how do you do it. I paid attention to some criticism of the governor for not putting money towards SNAP benefits, but as that turned out, I think that's actually there wasn't a good mechanism to do that. So what I had thought to do here, what I was going to propose, is to draft a resolution encouraging the state to stand up a winter feeding program similar to the summer feeding program that they had done in the past, and that the county might do some kind of matching toward it to kind of show, hey, we'll put in here if you will. I don't know that it's necessary now, because I do think that from all indications the government shutdown is going to end. But I wanted to explain my impetus for it, what I was thinking about doing, and it was not cutting checks to people. It was about sending maybe a message to the state and to try to lead the way on that. So I'm fine to table this unless somebody wants to make a motion, and I'll let everybody know the reason I'm tabling it is because I put this here in response to the government shutdown, and I think that's going to be a moot point. So anyway, any other discussion on that? Mr. Sittler.
You say table it, or are you saying bring it back as old business, or you'll bring it up?
We can table it. You can
Okay.
strike it. I mean, I will bring it back up if the government shutdown doesn't end, because I think we should.
Okay,
But assuming it doesn't, then wait on the table, let it go.
Okay.
Unless somebody wants to. Okay. Next item, Sheriff's Grant. It's the pass-through grant. Just received this for $14,952. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay,
I just have to oppose because I couldn't read it.
okay.
Sorry.
One. This is,
And when they listen, it has nothing to do with the grant. I just didn't read it. So I can't vote for something I didn't read.
So this will need a second reading?
with
Will it?
pass-through? I don't think
No,
it does.
I'm asking.
Yeah, Ms. Browning, I don't think this needs this is pass-through, right? Okay. Yeah, it doesn't need a second.
Good.
Okay.
I'm a no as well.
Okay, so we have 2 noes. Motion still carries. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I just have one item, and it goes to this whole, discussion that we previously had with food. On Wednesday, we'll be issuing a press release. Sumner County's partnering with Mid-Cumberland Action Agency, to provide food for needy families. So, it's not costing the county any money. We're basically just disseminating the information, helping them get that out to the families, so that they can get the food. But we'll be partnering with them.
With who?
Mid-Cumberland.
Mid-Cumberland.
Action Agency. Okay.
So there'll be a press release. If people ask us, they can look there
Right.
for information on Wednesday.
Will the county be, like, putting a Facebook post out or something like that, that we commissioners could share on our
Sure.
individual?
Yeah, it'll come out on the county page.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll distribute it to the press as well for them to use.
Any other notes, Mr. Mayor?
That's all, my report.
Okay. Ms. Browning, you are in the driver's seat. How are you today?
Great.
All right. Your show, ma'am.
Not much to report. The, financial statements will be on the county website next Monday. There was some talk at the last meeting about the letter that we've received from the comptroller for the budget. Mr. Long did email, Charlie Lester with the state. His reply is on page 6 at the top, and I think, Mr. Sittler had actually responded to him on that.
I've received a response from, if I may, Chairman. I received a response from him that he was gonna have to look at what I sent him, and he anticipates getting back with me next week.
So, this is consulting with, so this is, you're saying you are consulting with the attorney to whether this extends to the school system to review?
No, I've been asked a question, and there was some clarification that was needed, and based on the statements from the comptroller, I needed them to understand exactly what we were talking about. So I'm back and forth with the comptroller, basically.
So maybe I would ask if, do you have any findings currently or preliminary findings that you'd be prepared to discuss, or do you know how?
The comptroller really didn't want to give an answer other than consult. Basically, it summed up with consult with your county attorney. So I gave him my interpretation, and he said he was going to review and give me theirs.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
I've read through that thing twice, and I'm still confused. What's the issue?
Yeah,
it was about a finding. I think we were wanting to get corrected on, there were two items, and it was one of those items. Is that right, Beth?
It was,
About this.
the fund balance policy.
Yeah, the fund balance policy for the
On the
schools.
back page.
Trying to commit them to a reserve, and whether we had the ability to do that.
Got it. So, okay. So maybe well, go ahead. Did you have another question? Because I was going to ask you something.
Go ahead.
So mine is, in your opinion, can we or cannot?
I don't see how we can at the moment, but I'm fine with being told I'm wrong.
So
I just want to see it.
You want to be given guidance from the comptroller directly on this?
So that we don't get another audit finding that says we did something wrong.
Got it. Okay. Did you have another question? And I'll get you, Ms. Boyd.
Is this the same reserve account that's supposedly $143
This is
million?
about placing in an additional mandate of sorts.
So a different reserve account?
To maintain a specific reserve amount. Our ability as a commission to mandate that.
Oh. Can we do that?
That's the question.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Now I think I understand.
Ms. Boyd.
So just to clarify, I want to clarify. So the audit results were, they were actually giving us a finding because we did not have a formal policy?
This isn't the audit result.
Okay.
This is,
That's my
we
question.
submitted the budget letter with our FY '26 budget. This is the letter they sent back acknowledging they had received it, and one of their recommendations was.
Oh, they recommend that we might need a policy.
Yeah.
For schools, we have one.
Oh, I understand.
So then the question is, can we dictate or impose on the schools?
Put teeth to it.
Yeah. Do we have that authority? That's the crux of the question.
Thank you.
Where's that authority? Where would that theoretically come from?
This is the discussion I'm having.
That's
with
the million-dollar question
Yes.
right there.
Correct. Okay. Any other questions on this? I don't know that we need to do anything with this. Okay. Go ahead. I know we need to do something with transfers, so.
Okay, well,
Well, we need to vote on it.
here's the transfer. If I had these.
We have a motion. Okay, Ms. Browning, is there anything that, I see no new money in there. Is there anything that jumped out at you?
No.
Mr. Klein, I know there were a couple things that jumped out at you.
Well, I talked to Ms. Browning, and it's all regular money that's just transfers within the department, so it.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Well done, Ms. Browning. You were not done, though. I will be leaning on you for many things, I'm sure. Okay, old business. Election Commission, $394,896 from unassigned fund balance for vote center implementation. Is there a motion on this? Motion to approve. Motion to approve. Okay, is there a second? Motion fails for lack of second. Okay, City of Gallatin update. Mr. Mayor, you and I have been, we have had some discussions about this, and I'd entertain a motion to, actually, Mr. Mayor, I think the right thing to do here is just to let you go ahead and give an overview of your thoughts.
Okay, so the spreadsheet that you have outlines all of the fees that went with this project. The darker color, where you've got at the very top, this had to do with the jail addition, which was actually at the very beginning of this project before I was county mayor, you were commissioners. But it was agreed upon by the previous body to pay these, so that's $32,950. And then the yellow, all of those fees were fees that were charged but waived by the city. And then you've got the temporary COs, which totals, I think that was somewhere around 30,000, a little under that, which is also due. They want the money for the temporary COs. So long story short is the fees that they've waived on this project, that's the jail pod, parking garage, and courthouse, is $421,000. So as of the amount owed by Gallatin's $907,496. And if we give them the project to do the crosswalk, which we agreed to do that crosswalk, if we give them the authority to complete that, they have allocated $150,000. If that project comes in under $150,000, they'll refund the balance. They will provide all the receipts for that. So if we go with that, then they will pay us. We agree to this spreadsheet and then create an MOU that they will refund us that money, any underage fees from the crosswalk.
The difference will come back.
The difference, yes, will come back to us. They will write us a check now for $703,420.25. We can move past this project.
So I've got a couple questions here.
Yep.
I mean, in general, I want to get something done here. I just want to make sure, I understand. So we start at that $907,496,000. That's what we start at. And then, I'm not saying I agree with this, I'm saying that this spreadsheet would say that we would acknowledge a difference that would be owed to Gallatin. So we're saying, okay, we will grant you $204,000. But in so doing, we also want you have to take over the execution of the crosswalk.
Right.
Can you just outline, so that just at a high level, is that the correct interpretation of this?
That's accurate.
So, one second, and I'll get you. So just to make, I want to understand what that $204,000, what specific things went into that. That's the one question I had on there.
Okay, everything that's in green, the darker color,
Yep.
the top part, $32,950, and then add these $3,000 fees for the temporary CO.
Okay.
All of that equals $54,076.
Okay.
You see that? And then
Yep.
allocate $150,000 for the crosswalk, since we agreed to pay
Got
that.
it.
So we're paying for the crosswalk.
Right.
Got it.
But we're given,
What we're given.
and then they'll give us back any unused funds.
So we're still paying for it, but they're overseeing it.
Correct.
All right, but Mr. Becker, you were in queue.
That was,
Ms. Boyd.
And I know this seems really simple, but I still don't understand. Are we in partnership with them on the garage or not?
No.
We are not. They're not in
We
partnership.
wholly own the garage, they just agreed to pay a portion. We take over all maintenance, that garage belongs to Sumner County.
Oh, excellent, because I just didn't want to, saw my email, I just didn't want another,
No, I don't.
yeah, you don't
I don't
either.
want another partnership.
Yeah.
Mr. Klein.
I mentioned this in Gen Ops, and I'm going to mention it again, just because it irritates me a little bit. The temporary CO cost them nothing. Cost them absolutely nothing to implement. But they're charging us $3,018 7 times. I know they've waived a lot, and they'll tell you they waived a lot, but I just don't understand the temporary CO costing that much per quarter and charging it. I think that we should ask for them to waive that as well. I'm not going to be a stickler on it. I just know how this works in building business, and that's a gimme. That's a windfall. There's just absolutely no reason for it.
Mr. Becker.
What is the reasoning or the story behind the fees that they've waived that add up to $421,606? I know it's yellow here, but what's the reasoning? Because I think, I don't disagree with Mr. Klein, but I'm curious, what's their reasoning or the reasoning that, hey, we'll waive these $421,000, but we want this $1,000 a month. To me, I would imagine there's some logical reason, like they care about the $1,000 a month, but yet they're going to waive $400,000 in other fees.
Yeah, these fees were agreed to be waived at the beginning of the project.
Okay, so what's in yellow was agreed upon before. Okay, so the temporary COs, they were not agreed before, and so while it may not be costing them anything,
We don't have paper on it.
yeah. So
Is that a true statement? Okay.
And the reason we got charged those is because the crosswalk isn't built.
All right. I mean, I'm gonna make a comment, then I'm gonna make a motion here. So, Mr. Klein,
I know it sounds chicken.
No, Mr. Isbell knows my feelings on this. Like, there's a part of me that wanted to approve this, and I may still want to do this contingent on, the city of Gallatin paying us, what they owe us for the, reappraisal fee. You know, like, if we want to play these games of who owes.
What reappraisal fee?
They owe us $600,000 for reappraisal.
Right. Okay, sorry.
Right, so City of Hendersonville paid. There's a part of me that really wants to do that, and but the other part of me, the pragmatic side, to, burden the hand before two in the bush. And this is pretty close, and this is, given that we don't have paper on the things that are being cut out here, I'm gonna make a motion, I'm gonna really swallow this.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
I heard that if they're gonna do the crosswalk and anything under 150 they would give to the county, what if there's an overage?
Yeah, they're assuming the cost.
So we want
So
we want to make
it's
sure.
150 or whatever
I
it
will,
costs.
yes, so that is a good point. I will make a motion to approve this contingent on writing that says that the city of Gallatin will bear any and all costs above what this $150,000.
And a refund of anything
And
lower.
a refund of anything over. That is the amendment.
Yeah,
That they bear all,
be the agreement.
that they bear all risk. And subject to that, I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Question.
You said something about an MOU needed to be part of the motion.
Well, yeah, that would be disagreement that our county attorney writes up based on what you pass here.
Yeah.
It's basically just turning this into a contract.
Yeah,
is what I'm understanding.
Mr. Becker.
What, the line that says amount owed by Gallatin, 907. Where is the 907? What makes up 907?
That was a number that we've been bouncing around for.
Yeah, I bet.
But what's included in the 907?
The original amount was 2.4 million.
Okay.
They paid us the rest of it.
So the 907 is due, but it's all related to the courthouse.
Parking lot.
Parking lot.
It was
They're
okay.
agreed.
Parking lot.
So a little bit of the history on this is,
No, that answered my question.
does it, okay, I could, there's a little bit more to it than that,
But it's parking garage.
it's a parking garage.
Okay.
And this was being held hostage
Yeah.
until this crosswalk.
And it actually closes up 3 separate things.
Yeah, my motion's on the floor. Any other discussion on this?
I'd like to make an amendment, just see how it flies. I'd like to not pay the temporary CO, so I'll make a motion to remove that from the.
How much is that total?
21,000 and change. I don't know, 3,018 times 7.
I'll second.
Yeah, okay. Any, Ms. Boyd, almost second. Any other discussion on this one?
I was gonna say,
So what if they come back and say, okay, we'll waive the
Yeah.
CO, but then we're gonna charge you the plan review? The
Yeah.
exact same amount.
I was,
I feel like
yeah.
we're just kicking the can.
I was gonna say, I cannot support your amendment because it's just, we're just still circling and
And we're,
I don't know where it's gonna grow
Okay,
with,
well,
for 21,000.
Millions of dollars.
well, it's 21 out of 54, so.
I'm saying, would it make you feel better if they had charged no CO, but did charge the plan review, like with that?
nothing will make me feel better, honestly, about this whole project.
I'm just saying, a lot of the reason we're getting charged that 3,000 is because they were not transparent about anything on the crosswalk. I mean, for a long time, we didn't think it was even our responsibility, isn't that right, Mr. Mayor?
Well, we always knew it was our responsibility. What we were doing was determining if there was a need. And based on traffic, there is a need.
And I
So we
agree.
were trying to avoid it.
And there were some tertiary things in there, right? Like there was some secondary, because there was the supporting, like infrastructure changes for the, to get the crosswalk into place, right? There was like I'm forgetting, like there was a tunnel or something that had to go under, there was some flooding that had to be fixed.
Franklin Street.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was stormwater.
Yeah, that
I
was
don't think
actually
that's-
totally.
Well, no, it all got tied, anyway.
Well, there's another one coming up here in January.
So, do we have a motion? Any other discussion on this one? Mr. Becker?
To his point, if they refuse to do that, we're gonna end up being charged another $3,000.
Well, we may anyway, depending on how long it takes
Well,
to
if-
put the
if-
crosswalk in.
Well, this is it. If we approve this tonight, if you all approve this tonight, and the full commission approves a week from tonight, we're done with it.
Yeah.
We're not paying any more money.
That's right.
But if we try to get the 21,000, 20, whatever it is, then it resets the clock, all that good stuff. So, but you all can vote the way you want to do. I would, if I was voting here, I would vote for it.
Any other discussion on the amendment?
So that one.
All in favor?
Oh, no, I'm not.
I'll go again.
Call the vote for the amendment.
Let's vote for the amendment, and Mr. Klein's amendment is, to recapture the, temporary COs for a total of about $21,000. That correctly stated?
That's correctly
Okay.
stated.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No.
No.
Okay. I want to vote with you guys.
No, you do.
I wanna vote for two, but just for
But I-
21,000.
All right, so now we're on the main. The main is unamended. Any amendments? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Okay, maybe we can actually put something in substance away. I mean, this will make me very happy. Well, it doesn't make me happy, but
That's something you and me.
You're content.
I'm not content, but I'm less not content. Okay, I'm telling you what, while I'm here, if any other stuff where we're getting to bed on a joint project. All right, Board of Education, budget amendment number 4. Ms. Brown, is there any additional requests for funding for us? I don't think there is.
No, not for me.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve. Motion second.
I don't know if it's worth pointing out, just, if you look at the agenda, these are still pending education's approval, commission.
Fair. Well,
Which
would you,
is,
go ahead.
yeah, this is not any different than what we've done.
So,
I'm not saying it is.
would
I
you,
just wonder.
is your, as the maker of the motion, fine, just make that still subject to pending?
It's subject to.
All right, so we're good, it's captured. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Can and copy release. Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Was your motion for both? Okay, is the second good with both?
Yes.
Is there anybody who wishes to remove their vote for either of these? Okay, so we'll consider that having been voted for both of them. Okay, appropriation, sheriff's office carryover, unused funds for AV equipment, $122,971. Entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
There's a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, we can do it again.
Wait
Wait,
a second.
second, good with that, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, courtroom 5C, so this is a big number, but I actually think this came in lower than what we were expecting. Ms. Browning, can you bring us Up to speed.
So the construction cost for the bid was $659,685.13. With contingency of $15,000, an allocation of $50,000 for the furniture, for a total of $724,685.13. Originally, the estimate was $2 million. Back when we originally appropriated it a few years back in the budget. This would come from the restricted fund balance from local capital.
Yeah, okay. How did we end up getting a quote when we voted to pull this funding except the architect?
We were able to get.
We received bids back.
We didn't put funding for it.
We have the letters from the architect. We have those.
No way in the world I'm looking forward to given that we've got other folks here that have presented needs. No way I'm looking forward.
All right, is there a motion, to approve this? I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, okay. I rarely do that, but I'm gonna do it. Okay, so we have a motion and a second, any discussion on this, Mr. Becker?
What, can you repeat, Ms. Brown, where would this money come from? From capital?
Yes, restricted local capital.
Okay, that's,
And how much do we have in restricted local capital?
Around 24, I believe.
$24 million.
so just to make sure remind everybody, that's a different pocket that you're reaching into versus potentially funding the volunteer fire department.
Correct, yeah, this is a
capital versus.
This is,
Yeah, just wanted.
I wanna be, thank you for that, Mr. Becker.
This is the build out for, the additional courtroom on the 5th floor of the courthouse, that would be for Judge Nichols. Currently, they're moving all around.
I got you. I wanted to make sure everyone was aware that it's. The same money could not be used for non-capital expenses.
Correct, it is capital, one time. Go ahead, Mr. Landry.
I don't know if anybody else toured the courthouse where they're at. I did as well, and the current situation doesn't seem ideal, but seems very workable. But I have yet, so I have a hard time voting for. I understand we have 24 million. I understand it's only came in way lower than what we expected. This seems like a want, not a need. So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
I walked it with Mark Smith and the judge who will go in that courtroom. And I've talked to Judge Oliver about it, and I believe Judge Gay as well. And they're really leapfrogging to make room for that one judge who was state appointed.
Did you go to the current courtroom that they're using?
I went through all 4 courtrooms on the 5th floor.
No, I'm talking about the one that they're using right now.
Well, what they're using is they're kind of bouncing between. She's being bounced from courtroom to courtroom depending on schedules.
But they're also using the one on the first floor.
I haven't seen the one on the first floor.
If I may,
That's what
I've been there quite often, and that's the jury assembly room is what that's designated as. Yes, that's the one they use for the leapfrogging.
And I can say I was in the first floor courtroom. I met a young lady in town that was interested in interning with the judges. So she and I spent a whole day doing court. I've probably done a lot of courtrooms with her. She's doing really well. But yes, that room is very nice on the first floor. And it's very doable for a courtroom. So I think I'm going to.
I don't even know about that court.
I'm gonna ask.
I understand that it's the jury selection.
I'm just telling you what.
No, I understand that's the name on
I've seen court happen in there.
I'm gonna ask a question. So we have a court building that has areas that are unfinished.
For the entire 4th floor.
So so that's a fact. I'm just laying out facts here. That's a fact. Prices are going and by the way, if I had been here when the courtroom, the courthouse was, that, outline had been out, I would have been against it and tried to de-scope the thing, putting it out there. But I can't go
You're
back.
talking about the whole
The
courthouse?
whole courthouse.
Yeah. me
I
too.
would, but I can't, we cannot go back in time and unbuild the
It's there
courthouse.
now.
So, there's, you know, this is kind of the same thing with the $700,000, right? I didn't make that agreement with Galveston, but, you know, you inherit these things and you just got to make the most pragmatic thing. So we have a courthouse, and it is unfinished. That's a fact. Prices have been increasing more over the last 3 or 4 years than they have over the last 10 years. That has not shown signs of stoppage. That's also a fact. Like, now look, prices, maybe they can come down, but the trend is that they have not been. So I guess I really don't understand. We also have a judge who needs a courtroom and is currently not assigned a full-time courtroom. That's a current need, not a future need. And maybe it's a need nice to have, you can argue, but we have a judge right now who is using a room that is being co-utilized for jury selection. These are all facts. So I really don't understand why we wouldn't do, why we would wait. We have the money in capital, that's another fact. Like, why are we waiting? I would really be interested in understanding, given all those facts, why people are against it, Mr. Becker and Ms. Boyd and Mr.
Just a comment, back when we, previous commission or whichever year that was approved, I mean, the judge in question that position didn't even exist.
Right.
So if it had existed, a courtroom would have been built and included in the scope of, but the idea was we're going to leave it unfinished and then build as needed. And again, that judge position, I don't know how old it is, but it's a year maybe, whatever. Yeah, whatever. So that's this little background of why, you know, that courtroom wasn't built, wasn't included to begin with, because the position didn't even exist. Anyway, that's all. Maybe obvious, but
Mr. Hyde, Ms. Boyd.
You make great points. But I also say I walked around a lot with my young friend that wants to be a lawyer. For some reason, she wants to be a lawyer. And a lot of those courtrooms that we have finished were empty. I mean, they're empty a lot of days. We have a lot of days that we're not holding court in the courtrooms that we have judges in. I wouldn't mind seeing a schedule of how many days we're using all those courtrooms. And I understand there is reports out there, but we've never seen them. I don't know where to get them. They're magical, I guess. But I was over there like 2-3 different days, wandering around, seeing what it would be like to be a lawyer with this young girl. And there were a lot of courtrooms that just aren't used. I mean, they don't have court today. That's what I'm told. That judge not have court today. Who's in this courtroom? Well, he doesn't have court on Monday. Or who's in this one? He don't have court on Friday. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I understand cost today. I just want to say I saw a lot of not use.
Mr. Hyde.
My thinking on this, I'd really like to express is that, and I did take 2 tours, escorted by judges, through the facilities, so I heard it straight from the judges. First of all, I think it was probably a waste of money to have built that courthouse. some time before we actually did it. And it was so cheap to have done it when we first started talking about it. And then when we started developing the fourth floor of this building, the astronomical costs that we encountered in doing it. So obviously, sooner or later, we're going to be having to finish this courtroom, and it's going to cost the taxpayers a lot more money to do it. We have the judge, and it's going to happen, and we might incidentally walk over there and find the courtroom empty, but we don't know how long, when, what's happening. But what they did tell me that also bothered me a little is what our chairman said, that that room was used for a number of different things, including juries. And they were very concerned with using that space because it took extra security, because it was not there with the other courtrooms and did not have the space did not have the security that the others did have in the judges' quarters and so forth. So when I look at the big picture, even though I was against that building altogether, when I look at all of the other facts, I think I'm going to have to vote, and I'm certainly not one to vote for extra money for anything. I think I'm going to have to say the most reasonable thing to do to save taxpayer money now or in a few years probably is to vote for this.
Sir, Mr. Harrison? Well, I'm not disagreeing with anything that's been said here. In fact, Ms. Wolf made one point I was going to make. But I've also got a highway department that's probably housed in the oldest and most dilapidated building we've got in this county. And that one they actually need a new building there. So, you know, what do we put our priority on? A little convenience? Or if you want to take some money out of capital, let's allocate some money to build them a new building. I got a great building for the highway department.
Middle downtown?
They call it TRC.
I didn't say that, that's a good idea, though. Is that a motion?
I'll second
Yeah, it is not a motion.
No, it's not. Mr. Harrison, anything else? No. Mr. Lambert, I just want to clarify, my question was not just even to squash it all together. My question is, and you may have just answered it, and I didn't think about that, is you're starting about facts. It is a fact to not build out a completely new one, but to fit the one that is currently there instead of temporary tables. It would be, I think it was $50,000 for furniture. So let's bump that and say it's $100,000 versus $700,000. My question is, has that been explored? If it has been explored, why doesn't that work? And is it security that needs to cause that? Or is it just a convenience? That's where my question is. It's nothing against the judge. It's nothing against the courthouse. I think it's a beautiful building. I agree. I think it was overbuilt. I'm also not a fan of spending money. I understand that build costs go up. I also understand that we sit here for hours trying to get $21,000 from a different line item, instead of saying, hey, what about this instead?
Mr. Klein.
I think Commissioner Boyd has made several good points about maybe with the right security system at $50,000 or whatever in that one room where they do the jury selection, maybe that would make a lot more sense. Or you're absolutely right. I've been there on Fridays and nobody's holding court. It seems like. Why is that? Why does everybody all the judges take Fridays off? I don't know.
I didn't say that.
No,
I think that's the record. Nobody. I'm going to stay way over here.
Okay.
I did not make a motion. The other building.
All right.
Hope you don't ever get traffic.
Well, what we don't know is what Commissioner Boyd said, is we don't know what their schedule looks like from any given week to any given week. Perhaps we should defer this 1 month and get that information from the judges.
Go ahead.
That's not a motion.
Okay.
I don't have a dog in this fight, however, judges use their courtrooms, they set them up, they keep books in there, it's almost like a second office, so that's where it would be a benefit.
Okay.
They don't know their schedule either, they don't know if they're gonna have to sit a jury in the middle of a jury, they don't know if it's gonna go to trial, there could be settlement, I mean, they just don't know. Fridays came up. Fridays in most counties are what you call motion days. And the purpose of that is to run through motions, and a lot of motion days in fairly early. But you're never going to get a judge to be able to tell you, on Wednesdays I do this, on Thursdays I do that. So that's not a possibility. And I'm not advocating one way or the other, but this is an important thing for the judges, just in some sort of routine and being set up. Because I've walked into some courtrooms and it looks like they've got so many books and not just fiction, but, well, I guess some would argue the Constitution's fiction. But,
I didn't say that either.
But my point being, if they need stuff, they've got to go run back to their office to get it when they know usually what they need at any given time. It's going to be sitting there right at their desk as the trial's going on. So having said all that,
Mr. Harrison.
So why is this coming in November? Why isn't this part of the budget process? We've had that question.
Well, we did have it in the budget process.
it started last.
It started, and what we did was we pulled down a sufficient, if I recall, so we originally set aside several million.
It was 2 million.
And then we
left the architect.
And then we left, yeah, and then I do believe that we gave guidance to go ahead and get bids on it, so that we could price it before we put money to it. I think the finance department did exactly what we asked them to do, and now they're coming back, so this.
No.
All right,
That's what I
this is exactly how I remember, go ahead.
May I speak?
Yes.
To your point, that the courtroom is like a second office. We are also electing a judge, and it will be that judge. She's running. You said you toured the courtroom with the judge that would be using it. Who did you tour with?
Her name escapes me, but.
Judge Nichols.
Nichols, it was Nichols.
And she's up for re-election.
So somebody's
gonna be in
Right, so if it's a second office, do they have no say in what goes on in that courtroom, in the layout, in the furniture, in any of it?
No, they have no say.
Who decides?
Well, that was a good question, because that was one of the complaints of Thompson.
So who decides?
It was the architect.
Yeah, so we put a bid out.
Well, I'm with you, I am in agreement with Commissioner Harrison. When we voted for this, we voted to hire, we voted to, for $150,000 for an architect, or was it $100,000?
It was $150. It was something like that.
Yes, not more than $150.
No, I agree, but we haven't put any funding toward this. This is, we don't have to do anything. Like, you can vote for it, not vote for it, but I'm just saying that this is what we wanted. This is the next step. We put out our architect, we got the specs, and then we put the specs out to bid, and then we've got this back, and we can vote or don't vote for it. I mean, that's up to you.
And if I'm not mistaken, the architect reduced their price because they were just mimicking the other rooms.
Well, that would be my question. Are they going to build it to the same specs as the previous room, same millwork, desk, et cetera?
Without objection, we suspend the rules.
Okay, so yes, that courtroom would mirror exactly what the other courtrooms on that floor are. And also, to just give you guys a little bit more information, the 5th floor is set up for the state, because those are the state courtrooms. And it's my understanding that all the other floors don't have those same requirements. So this courtroom would also have that state requirement built in, because all the servers and everything are on that 5th floor.
Ms. Boyd, is there any other questions? Okay. Well, Ms. Boyd, you have something for the group?
Maybe Scott could confirm with me. I toured the back offices also, and saying that this furniture is for their offices, I don't think that's correct. I think this furniture is for the courtroom. The office suites are different, and I won't say, but one of our judges was, anyway, I think they buy their own furniture, because we had furniture talk, and it was glamorous. Y'all can determine where that's at.
So what I did was the furniture.
Yeah, is the furniture in the courtroom or in the back?
Solely the courtroom.
It's solely the courtroom. So
And
this
what
is
happened
not
was the architect
a
went
judge's
through the
furniture.
Previous one, like one of the other, we went through multiple
It's the
courtrooms.
same spec.
Yeah, they determined about how much the cost would be to mimic, and they said, hey, it's about $50,000.
And it's the wallpaper, the ceiling fixtures.
No, so the furniture is like all the chairs, the tables, and all the extra in there, absent the pews. The pews would be included in the build out.
Right, but the wallpaper's the same from courtroom to courtroom. And, talk to us about the jury room on the first floor. Why would that or would that not work?
It sounds like
I'm not
it's a
gonna say
state
that
court
wouldn't
problem.
work.
He's
been using
he's
it.
the
I'm just saying it doesn't have those, I'm fairly certain the state servers are not down on that first floor, they're only on the fifth floor, because that's the only state courtrooms that we have.
Go ahead.
One other question. How much of the budget is the electronics? It's pretty high, isn't it?
I'd have to go back through.
Okay. Mr. Becker?
So it was the same spec as the existing courtrooms. So how much of the $100,000 did it take for them to give us the same specs?
I have $85,000 with the architect to do everything all the way to the end.
And there was mechanical engineering and electrical engineering that had to go into that as well, just to look at.
Mr. Wyman?
Sorry, I'm actually getting information from judges that I wanted to share, because I feel like it is pertinent, that I did not think of. And to Mr. Williams' point earlier, this is what happens when people are making decisions and don't reach out to those people, so that's what I did. But from a safety perspective, that first floor courtroom is full of windows, and for a jury to sit there, they either have to be built in, or something happen with that for active shooter situations. Also, to Mr. Shamrock's point, the AV in the state is all housed on one floor, and it would be, you would have to go through down to the floor.
Any other questions? Without objection, I'll bring us back to the rules. Thank you, sir. Okay, any other discussion on this? We have, okay,
When we were originally talking about this, I knew that the price was gonna be somewhere between 500 and 750, even though we were told it was $2 million. So, I think sooner or later, we're gonna have to build this thing out. And I'm kinda like, if we got 24 million in capital, and we're talking about 724 to build this thing out, you kinda gotta bite the bullet, and that's where I'm at, and I will vote for it.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
No, so the motion is to approve, and so I approve, and the motion is to approve, and I'll waive the second reading. Is the second good?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
We need a second reading. Yeah, we need a second reading. Okay, so, moving on, Highway Department, $38,480. For the second, I got it to it before you did.
Hold on, Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead.
Didn't we just fund a ton of raises for them 6 months ago?
This was,
Transfer.
yeah, but that's a good,
He's cutting a clerk part-time and other contractor services.
so that is a good question though, Ms. Browning, are there any long-term implications of doing this? Because we typically do set this, I mean, I'm fine with it, but we typically do, and by the way, I've seen this done in other departments, so like, I'm not saying no, but we typically do set, salaries during budget, and so
know if these are annual increases or not. Was 13,000 that from a non-payroll line. So that increases your salary budget.
What line?
Two.
Do they have
Other
asphalt?
contracted services.
Yeah, man,
If I may,
go ahead.
I remember Mr. Ellis saying that his clerk, he needed an extra clerk because his people couldn't answer the phone. Remember that exchange we had?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, let's move your POs over to finance, and then your people can answer the phones better. I clearly remember that. But now he doesn't need that clerk, so who's answering the phones?
So, may I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Of our chairman, of Highway. What are these raises?
We just gave 3 or 4, employees just some bonus, some salary bonus, I guess, to keep.
A bump or a bonus?
No, a bump.
So this is a recurring, this one's for $11,500.
One?
One labor
It's
worker.
one line.
One line.
There's 7 employees.
One of them got 11,000, the laborer got 11,000.
I'm gonna motion to defer this for a month, and so that Mr. Ellis can explain what just the details of it.
Second.
That's my motion. I'm not against it, but there's some questions here. My motion is to defer.
Second.
Mr. Hyde?
Okay, in regard to the deferral, I would like to see it deferred until we can get more information and with the explanation. And I'm not opposed. He knows more than we do about who needs to get what, as long as it's reasonable. But the timing is not so great, I don't think.
My understanding was that it was just transfer of money, no new money here involved, it's all within the
The problem with, I would actually be okay, because I will state, and Mr. Hyde, you've said this many times during the budget process, and I agree. I want to get back to a point where we're actually not line iteming every single, employee, and we're telling the departments, hey, you're getting this much as a percent or whatever, and let them do as they wish. So I wouldn't have any problem with that. The problem here is that we're moving from a non-salary line item to a salary line item. And that is the specific thing I have a question on. If it was salary to salary, I would be fine with it, but it's non-salary to salary, that's a little bit different. That's my primary problem. And I just, not saying no, but I need to understand that.
And Mr. Chairman, that 38,480 is probably a half a year.
Yeah.
And so it'll be double, so.
Yeah.
From salary to non-salary, salary, now
No,
non-salary.
we're 6 months down the road.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
from non-salary to salary.
Yes.
Because
For raises,
I
I don't know because.
okay.
That's why we want to, I want
Why
to.
does it bother you?
Oh, because, oh, you were asking me for because if you have a non-salary item can be recurring, it can be non-recurring, but a salary item is always going to be recurring, and I don't know if there are benefits wrapped up in it. I don't know if this is covering the full cost. What's happening when you move something from a non-salary item to a salary is that we're potentially signing ourselves up for more than what's on the paper in the future. And I'm not even saying no, I just want to, it's hard to make projections during budget if we make changes like that too much throughout the year.
Okay.
That's my reason. Any other? So my motion is to defer from Mr. Becker.
Do we recall if he requested these additional bonuses above and we struck them? I mean, I know I don't vote on this specific committee, but I would like to have more information as well before you all approve that, because that is a slippery slope. And I think, I know that other departments, larger departments within the county, do these interdepartmental transfers throughout the year, and to your point, it basically bumps up their salary where you end up having to fund it the next year.
Yeah.
So that's a,
Oh, yeah,
yeah, I mean, we're,
it's part of his MOE.
yeah, I would, yeah, it would definitely.
It would be.
Yeah. So I would, yeah.
Any other?
Y'all can vote however y'all wanna vote, but.
Mr. Klein?
Does highway department have MOEs on those?
Yes, they have a 5-year moving average.
Okay.
5-year
On
moving average.
labor only?
On total cost.
Total.
Total recurring costs.
Okay.
So not capital.
Okay.
We've argued about that.
Yeah.
But I'm of the opinion that capital doesn't go with that. So. All right, any other discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, motion carries. We will defer this, and I'll make a call I'm sure I will get a call from,
You will.
from Mr. Ellis tomorrow. Maybe, that's okay. I'm used to people being mad at me. It's all right.
If we bring it back, when we bring it back, can you annualize the numbers?
Yeah, yes, I want to understand.
I don't think anything will break this, that's for the future, so it's not like you need to, it doesn't read like you need to.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure he'll reach into me till I'm mad on the way home.
Into?
Okay, Health Department, communications agreement, Ms. Browning, I know a little bit less about this one, go ahead.
This is, I put in-house here, if we need him to hurry and speak, but he's changing out their current phone system to the one the rest of the county has, and per IT, there's no additional cost.
So no additional cost, it's just.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Millersville Public, Library, the multi-year, agreement.
Motion.
Second. Mr. Klein? Do you waive this, we don't need a waiver of second reading for this, right? Okay, go ahead.
That library, to my knowledge, Commissioner Bergdorf, has not run it through the library board. This expenditure.
This is so she doesn't have to ask permission for to do this. She's in charge of her daily operations. She's allowed to come to budget and ask for things.
Okay, that was news to me. I thought the library board came on her behalf. So, because this is Zubeen thing.
Well, perhaps at the time she put this in, the current chairman, we weren't sure where she was living. That could have been a problem. She might not have been a county resident, so she may just put it in that she is allowed to come and ask for budget items, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I genuinely don't know.
The chairman presents the budget.
At the end,
Typically, when
That's true.
the chairman would come, would be for they would be for larger line items, but the chairman is not here. Yes.
2 years ago, I pushed forward for the carpet at the Gallatin Children's Library due to the safety issue. It did not go to the library. I took it straight to here, and we took care of it.
Yeah, that's happened.
So this is a 3-year lease, right?
Yeah.
It's 3.
Multi-year software license.
And she's been through the process of making sure that the contracts were correctly signed.
if
Law
I could
director.
interject.
Go ahead, Mr.
The way the library board's set up with the library directors do have autonomy to do what they need to with their specific location, so this is not unusual or customary.
And I understand that we intentionally changed that, right? We dissolved the system.
Whether, I'm just telling you what it says now.
No.
Yeah,
And
how it got there.
That's right, well, we intentionally did that. There was a library system and this body dissolved that. And we did it because, I mean, what I saw, and I think what others saw, was that we were taking away librarians and we were adding administrative positions. And so we said, nope, we're going to decentralize this. Yes, the library board does present the budget, but outside of, for like tactical
things. I do think that these have been, and like I said, I genuinely don't, I don't know the library, the details of the library's bylaws, so I'm gonna go with what you've said. But I do know that we have done similar things like this, and it's not been a huge problem.
I know it's not much money, but is there a budget issue here?
No.
Does she have a?
This is
She
just for
manages her
ratification
own
of a multi-year
budget. All the
contract.
library, all the library directors manage their own
We have
budget.
a motion called question.
Second.
All in favor, all in favor? Aye. Okay, couple questions been called, we're gonna vote, there's a motion to approve, item C3, unamended, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yes, I know.
Okay, so we have one no, this does not need a second reading, however, so this will go to the, full commission. Okay, volunteer, fire department potential one-time appropriation, this is, from the October commission, I'd entertain motions of anything. Is there a motion to do something here?
Motion to approve $650,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion to approve $650,000, I'll get in my own cue. This one's hard for me. And it's, I'm fine to help, but all we're just kicking a can down the road. I want to make an amendment that I will approve it, and I don't know that it's going to go anywhere, but that I will, that this is approved contingent on the county requesting the state to allow us to put a question regarding a fire tax to referendum.
Second.
So, we have a motion and a second. Okay, Mr. Lawler.
If you'll notice in your packet, we posted notice for this for commission as required by law. So any deviations are going to result in republication in another commission meeting. If this doesn't get passed.
But.
No, I'm not saying that, but if there's any hiccup on the way this notice is done, we'll have to redo it.
But the notice, so are you saying that my motion is not, would delay us?
I don't know, the state, you're talking about sending something up to the state for them to authorize?
No. It is contingent on the commission passing that. It's not contingent on the state doing anything. It's contingent, let me make super clear what I'm making this contingent on. It is contingent on the commission voting to make a request to the state. It is not contingent on.
Okay. No, that's you're taking two different directions.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not saying
that does not affect it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that the state, that we have to wait on the state. I'm just saying that I will support this.
Are you saying contingent or in addition to?
It is contingent. What I'm saying is.
So if the commission doesn't pass it, they don't get the $650.
That's right. Now, I mean, that can be amended on the floor, of course, but.
Be amended now.
It can be. You can. But my motion is to, listen, and I'm going to talk about this real quick. I actually thought Mr. Mansfield's idea was probably the best one. I like that idea of having a subscription service, but it didn't go anywhere. So what I'm interested in is solving a problem here, and just continuing to. We started not long before I got here. I think we gave around $100,000 in total to the volunteer fire departments, and now we're the proposal is for $100,000 per station. So
No.
Yes, if we go from 650,000 to 1.3 million, it's about 100,000 per station.
So is that what we're talking, 1.3?
Yeah, so we're doubling from 650 to 1.3. So I want to be super clear about what these numbers portend.
I was thinking of when we came in 22, it was 1.2 million additional that they
got that paid for the new station and the fire.
That was capital.
Right, and that was the number I was
Yeah, got
saying.
it. Let me pull a couple things back here. So this was to Mr. Becker's point earlier, right? Like we were talking about building out a station or buying a piece of equipment that can come out of capital because it's very specific. If there was some way to put something out of capital for the fire departments, that'd be a lot. This is being requested to come out of the general fund. Well, and we'll see. I mean, maybe we just need to do something with TRC, but anyway.
Sure.
So I just want to be super clear here. The motion here for the $650,000 is coming out of the general fund, and let's not kid ourselves. This is going to be recurring. We say one time, but it's going to be recurring. So I want to solve the problem, and I don't want to kick the can down the curb. If somebody says that, Matt Schoaf wants to tax everybody, I'm not saying tax anybody. I'm saying put it to vote, and we should never be afraid of asking people to vote. So my motion is for it to be contingent on that, and I'll go Ms. Boyd, and then Mr. Law Director, and then Mr. Klein, and then Mr. Hyde. Go ahead. Sorry, Mr. Becker. Sorry, go ahead.
You don't even go here. He's not even part of it.
Go ahead, Ms. Boyd.
One of the things that I said, like when we talked about salaries, is equity. So I haven't seen, like, some of these fire departments are larger than others. Some cover more space than others. We have had no discussion. I have seen no boards, no graphs showing me how much area we're covering. I'm not seeing any response times. I'm not seeing any training standards. I'm not seeing any of that. And I'm being asked for a lot of money. And I agree with you. It's going to come back next year. I'm all for it. Actually, I want to raise taxes to pay for it. That's all good, because we've got to pay for it somehow. Either we're going to tax the money we've already raised, or we're going to make more tax money. So we need a highway building or something, I hear. I don't know. But spending money is spending money. It doesn't matter if we're raising taxes today, or we raised them 6 months ago, or we took it yesterday. It doesn't matter. What I don't see is the equity about what I'm getting from each station. I'm hearing we're going to give this to A, B, C, and D. Everybody gets the same thing. I don't know how many people I have, how much I'm serving, what my response time. I know nothing about any of the statistics or anything. So I would say we need a big pause to determine where our needs are, because it may be greater at Fire Department A than it is at D, and we have no idea. We might be doing better with our money over here, our response time, because the houses are closer. Have no idea. So I want more.
Go ahead, Mr. Sidman.
I would just like to point out, since I love going to meetings at night so much, we have a volunteer fire department ad hoc that has yet to meet, and everything you all are discussing is exactly what they're going to be discussing.
When are they going to? We have any idea when they're going to meet?
There's one scheduled.
Okay.
20th?
And it's a newly appointed ad hoc, and we're, AGMS, I believe.
Write down my question.
Well, I'm going to respond to that real quick, and
Write down my question.
that's okay. Well, I'm going to go down the line. I don't need to respond. Anything else, Mr. Sidman?
No, that was it.
Good point. Mr. Becker.
So I want some information about the referendum piece of it. Because that's what we're talking about, right? This is the motion. What would the revenue, how much revenue do we think that would?
We don't know.
The fire tax, okay, what would that, in theory, what would that revenue cover?
So here's the general gist of it. So first off, the answer to the specific numbers that the questionnaire is the purpose of that ad hoc. To come up with a study, to conduct a study to get an estimate on what a cost would be, and maybe even a menu of options, right?
To do what?
To provide fire service in the unincorporated part of the county. But that could mean a lot of different things, right? Like the tactics of it, you could have everything from the one hand of a volunteer fire department plus, there would be maybe a volunteer fire department to keep the original structure with a bit more support, and potentially have a roving, kind of a RFQ squad right? A quick reaction squad, something like that. You could go all the way to a full service, right? I mean, all the way over to like a fully professional service. There's some, I'm throwing these things out there. I don't have all of the answers. My point is that's why we put this committee together, and that you could have somebody come out with a plan.
Yeah, okay, so I understand that. So then.
And I don't know what these are gonna cost, right? So we can't answer that question yet.
Because a referendum would likely need, it's a yes or no, right?
It's gonna be it will be a yes or no question, and it will, whether or not it has a specific dollar amount to it, I don't know that it necessarily does, but we will need to provide for.
Okay, so my point being, I think, is the commission could implement an assessment, whatever you want to call it, property, fire tax, and an assessment on the property, whatnot, for that service, without having to put anything on referendum.
Yes, we could.
Right, okay, so we would make sure everyone understands that. And then.
I would be against that.
Okay,
but.
And then, so let's say it goes to referendum and they vote and it doesn't pass.
Here's my take on it. I'm responding to you here, but here's my take on it. I live in the city. This is not my call to make. I would be voting to impose a tax on people I don't represent. So I don't think that's the right thing for somebody in the city to do. We nevertheless have to vote on it. So before I would make any vote whatsoever, this is Matt's personal opinion, and why I want a referendum. I want to hear from the citizens what they want. I want to hear from the citizens in the county what they want. And I want them to be fully informed about what it is that they're getting, what it is that's costing them. And I want them to make that call, and I want them to tell it to me. And I will tell you this, if they vote for it, then I will vote for it, because that's what they're telling me they want. If they vote against it, I'll vote against it, because they're telling me, and then we'll come back and we'll have to figure out. What they're telling me at that point is, hey, the status quo is what it is. And they're also telling me, I might infer from that like the county is free to give the volunteer fire departments whatever it sees fit, because we don't want to change that number. Nevertheless, I don't want to be somebody. I don't want to impose that tax coming from the city on county residents, because I don't represent county residents. I hope that makes sense.
No, I understand what you're saying. But if it gets voted, if it gets to referendum and it gets voted no, so what's the plan to? Okay, I'll answer the question. The funding will come from the rest of our funds, and so now the entire county, including your constituents, are paying for it.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what's happening now.
So we have the decision, we have the choice, we have the ability to tell the non-county or non-city, the county residents, that they can pay for it. If we don't do that, then the city residents are going to pay for it.
Well, or we can, vote to not continue to increase it.
I understand.
There's, we don't have to do anything.
Okay, but I just want everyone to understand that at the end of the day, the vote of the referendum is not going to matter, in my opinion.
I disagree with that.
Because the funding's going to end up being there, and it's either going to be out of property taxes, or it's going to be out in an assessment on the properties outside the city.
I disagree with that. Well, I disagree that it will have no impact, because people.
I mean, this 1.3 is out of property tax.
Because I'm telling you that, I'll vote based on what is done. So if the vote comes back that they're for it, I'll vote for it. I think you would, if the vote comes back that the citizens in the unincorporated area would support a fire tax, then I think you get a lot more support for it than if they voted against it. So I think it absolutely. I just disagree that it doesn't matter. I agree with you that your comment that if it doesn't pass, we're in status quo. And what I would also agree with you is right now, the cities are, everybody says other cities are so evil, and the whole Gallatin thing is, I can have some sympathy for that, but in this particular case, the cities are subsidizing the county residents.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so,
100%.
you know, but that's just how these things work sometimes. Mr. Hyde and then Mr. Mayor.
There have been some good points made here, and actually, probably there are very few things in the county that are as worthy as the job that a volunteer fire department does. However, I think everyone ought to realize before we go jumping off too far into this, that this county, if you take a bookkeeper's balance sheet, we are in a deficit. We are spending for the last several years more than we are taking in. Is that not right, Mr. Chairman?
That's not right, Mr.
No, we balance by taking reserves, which normally would offset any increases, and on the next year's budget, we've taken reserve, we're taking money from pennies from capital to make the balance sheet work. But a typical bookkeeping balance sheet, we are operating in a deficit. I don't care what you say.
I'm just saying mathematically, Mr. Hyde. I'm just saying mathematically you're wrong, but
mathematically I am wrong.
And the reason I'm saying that is that we could go, if we kept everything at MOE, we would never have to have a tax increase. If we kept everything at MOE this year, we would never have to have a tax increase. Is that true? If we kept everything at MOE.
You can't do that.
But then you can't, then you can't say we're operating at a deficit. Now, we are climbing toward, so what you're talking about is overburn or underburn. So here's how much money we are taking in revenue. We are right here. We are taking in more in revenue than we are spending. That is a fact. That is absolutely a fact. However,
that absolutely is not.
It absolutely is. Ms. Browning, is that a fact? I mean, it's smart woman. It is absolutely a fact that we are not spending more money than we're taking revenue.
Pennies from capital to make the sheet balance.
We took pennies from debt service that we had to take pennies from debt service.
For what reason?
Because if we wouldn't have taken it from debt service, then we would have had to pay money on arbitrage because we were paying so much into debt service that the feds were going to penalize us for it.
And I kept hearing us at the table saying that we needed to, we could take one more penny for this.
We have about 9 more pennies we can run. Actually, 9 to 11. We're running at an underburn rate of 9 to 11 pennies right now.
We're pushing for a tax increase.
And we will have, if we continue to grow at our current rate, we would have, I think you will have a tax increase in 3 to 5 years. That's when, and even then you could stave it off a little bit.
I don't want it in 3 to 5 years.
Well, so here's, Mr. Hyde, I'm going to be honest with you, and this is where we got to do math. Would anybody in here suggest that we could fund current operations in 1880s dollars? No. Well, by the way the state has us set up, you have a flat amount. We get $135 million flat. It does not account for inflation. It doesn't account for inflation. So
I'm prepared to answer.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Browning.
In fiscal year 23, in the general fund, expenditures were more than revenue by almost 1.7 million. In 24, revenue was more than expenditures by just over 2.4 million.
Revenue was over expenditure.
In fiscal year 25, these aren't the actuals, this is what was in budget. It was projected that expenditures would be more by almost 1.2.
So expenditures were more this year.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Well,
and for fiscal year 26, what was budgeted, expenditures were more than revenues by $228,000.
$228,000.
I'll conclude what I'm going to say, but, Mr. Chairman, I'm not attacking you, I'm just attacking what you're saying that's not right. But, I have a novel suggestion. doesn't please me to see these apartment complexes and these condos and these subdivisions. If one, and I'm speaking as a former director of schools, if just one of those houses or apartments has one child, you're going to be spending in excess of $10,000 on that child. That property tax is not going to pay for the schools, much less roads, libraries, everything else. If you have fire department, everything else you have to have. So this huge growth is a dog chasing its tail. It gets you by today, but it catches you tomorrow.
Well, I don't disagree with anything that you just said, Mr. Hyde. I don't agree with or disagree with anything you just said. But if we want to not have to raise any, the vast majority of our revenues are spent on recurring, on salary. So here's, I mean, this is the truth, and this is the truth that people have got to be honest with themselves about, because it's easy to say that, and I'm not, and I'm, again, Mr. Hyde, I'm not attacking you, I'm just attacking some of the things you're saying. If you want to keep us from having a tax increase, we need to tell every sheriff's officer, no more raises. No, we need to tell, we need to tell, where's that, because again, we get a maintenance, we only get a set number of dollars. The dollars are flat. We don't get new dollars every year, except maybe a little bit on sales tax. And the sales tax extra that we get is not sufficient to give even a 3% increase.
Additional property tax.
No, we do not, sir.
Oh, yes, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
Every new house built in this county, I was director of schools, and I watched the sales tax, the property tax.
We are reset every year.
Brings in additional property.
The state resets us so that we have to reset the tax rate so that it is revenue neutral.
Yes, that has nothing to do with new developments paying you.
That absolutely has. We get this. That's exactly what it means. It means that if we have 100 houses and they were all paying $1, now you have 200 houses, they're all paying 50 cents. Yes, that was Mr.
The finance director said no.
I'm county mayor.
This is the assessor of property will tell you we get reset at a revenue neutral rate, and in fact, you tend to lose. You lose on reappraisal.
I don't know where you got your information. I lived through it for 12 years.
Well, so anyway,
We're off topic.
Yeah, we are. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
To Eric's point, whatever, Attorney Sittler, whatever you want to call yourself. To Eric.
I'll call it Mr. Klein, everybody else does.
To Mr. Klein's 2.0, 3.0 point, we have a meeting next week for this ad hoc. Does anything break to punt this to next month to figure out what they're, because if we're going to make a decision and they may come up with a different decision, then we're going to be right back against things.
They're not gonna have a decision next week. It's their
And
first
it's back to
meeting,
commission.
but
The notices for this commission, I'll have to repost.
On the other hand, we can have as many ad hoc meetings as fast as we want and can. I think, will anything break? Depends on who you ask. I think if you ask the guys behind us, it broke 2 months ago. So they may be in a big hurry, and I'm in favor of hurrying with them, because this has been a problem a long time.
I agree. Well, I think what broke is several years ago when we said this is a one-time thing, and then we kept doing it.
Yep.
And so I would like to I live in the county, my entire district is in this county. It's not that I'm against it, I'm like Chairman Chuck, I want to fix the problem. I don't want it to be, we do this year, then next year we don't do it, and they come back and say, well, now we're hurting because we set up for this, and the equipment's more expensive, and this is more expensive, and all of this. So, for me, in my simple mind, letting an ad hoc whose sole mission is to figure out some solutions, or at least some ideas of solutions, would be better than us sitting here for another hour trying to solve the problem.
I would love to, just a motion to confirm?
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So we just argued to agree on that next time on the deferral. Okay, hold on a minute.
I didn't get my comment in, it's the only thing.
It's already been voted on.
It's already been voted.
I'd like to say Mr. Hyde had some really great points.
I hold my position on how property values or how.
I didn't comment on that.
Okay, 1 through 4.
Yeah, that's.
Second, all in favor?